I think let's touch on the shilling today. What type of demand are you anticipating for government short-term paper this week, and how's that likely to impact the shilling?
Well, in terms of the impact from what the government is raising, we don't see that much of an impact, but we expect the currency to remain sort of within a narrow range. We don't expect any significant weakening or strengthening. We've seen the currency strengthening to almost unprecedented levels, but I think if you look at the macro situation, there's been a lot of support coming in terms of FDI, and that's keeping the currency at around this level.
Let's just take a look at the concerns that we're seeing regarding the high interest rate environment and the likely impact it's going to have on some of the counters. Bamburi Cement was the top faller yesterday. It fell by around 3%. What are your thoughts on the construction space right now, and specifically the fact that foreigners are exiting the stock?
We don't see a particular problem. In fact, we think Bamburi as a stock is actually a very good buy. I mean, we have the Kenyan story, but they also have a unit in Uganda, which we think is going to support overall profitability for the company. If you're looking at the construction sector, we think the demand into this year and next year is still going to remain quite strong. Most of the projects are ongoing, so we do not see any particular sharp fall in demand. And in any case, with the new capacities which are coming through, we are seeing quite a bit of segmentation. So we don't see any particular threat for the cement company.
So Bamburi is still a buy for you?
Yes.
Another stock that's a buy on your list is Mumias Sugar. We saw first half numbers out of the sugar producer recently. A weak top-line growth there. Just looking at some news flow this morning, the ethanol production plant is being delayed, and of course that's its strategy to diversify income streams. It's set to lose around 400 million shillings as a result of that. How material is that for the company?
Well, we've not factored that part of revenue in our forecast, so we still have it as a buy. Essentially, what the current ethanol plant was supposed to have commenced in December of 2011, so last year. But we're seeing a delay, and it looks like at the earliest it could come through is probably April-May period. So essentially in our estimates, we are looking at 2012-2013 period as the point where the ethanol revenue actually starts flowing into the income. So the loss that is actually there is sort of theoretical, what they would have earned between now and May.
As you say, they have reiterated that May is when that production will come online. But overall, it's still a sugar producer. That's where majority of its revenue is geared towards. When we look at output coming through for the year, are we looking at a better year for 2012?
The first half performance was quite disappointing. I guess even we had already factored a decline in cane processing, but if you look at the sugar produced, essentially the efficiency in terms of what they were getting in terms of the sucrose content really declined substantially. So from a decline on cane process of around 25%, we saw the sugar produced actually declining by almost 45%. And so from that point of view, those earnings were disappointing. So we're expecting a recovery in the second half. So the 2011-2012 period, we're still going to see an overall improvement in profitability. Then we expect things to stabilize in 2012-2013. Obviously, from that point onwards, we're expecting lower sugar prices on overall, but overall production to improve. And then you'll have the ethanol kicking in, which has better margins.
Let's move on to the banking sector. A flat performance, some bias to the downside yesterday for the overall sector, but really divergent trends that we're seeing. The likes of equity was one of the top gainers. Barclays Bank fell back, but it is seeing some buying this morning. What are your thoughts on the results that we're going to see from Barclays out on Thursday? Also in light of the fact that there's a strong restructuring taking place at the bank right now.
Barclays has been putting a lot of effort in terms of managing its costs. So from that point of view, we think it's still going to show quite a solid growth. So the underlying business, generally, we expect to see some solid growth. But last year they had a one-off gain from the sale of the custody business to Standard Chartered. So this year, if you just eliminate the custody business, even if they have a good underlying growth, we still see some challenges in terms of overall profits. So I think really that's the overall outlook for Barclays. So I think investors should factor in that.
Would their connection, though, as to other Barclays banks in Africa be seen as a positive? We know that ABSA, of course, is majority owned by Barclays here in South Africa. They're looking to increase synergies between the two banks. They're investing in technology in order to do that. So it's diversification and it's a presence across the continent. Do you think that's a positive for Barclays?
We think that's going to be very important. We haven't seen it yet. Hopefully we'll start to see that filtering through, especially in terms of more business. If we look at most of the business, especially within Africa, I mean, if you're looking at the bulk of the business for Kenya, the best synergies will probably come from additional trade within East Africa. Intra-Africa trade is still not that significant, but hopefully as it grows and if ABSA builds up alongside Barclays Kenya, then that should start to filter in positively for Barclays Kenya.
It is Valentine's Day today, of course, Eric, so we're looking at stocks, firstly, that you've entered into a long-term relationship right now. Which stocks do you see fundamentally as a long-term buy?
Well, just to mention, Kenya is a big flower grower, so this month is actually quite good for it. In terms of stock, unfortunately, we don't have any specific stock related to sort of the flower sector. But, you know, from a stock which I'll probably say that I would really look to have a long-term relationship, I would say probably Centum Investments.
Centum Investments, and stock that you're going to dump on Valentine's Day?
Yes, certainly.
No, a stock that you're going to dump, stock that's out of favor from your side. Which stock which stock is out of favor? If Centum's a long-term buy, which stock would you not be buying today?
I would say East African breweries, although I think they might deliver very solid earnings, but I think longer term they're probably going to face some challenges. They are also announcing results on Friday.
But Centum, as you say, long-term growth story there. Eric, thanks for joining us on the show this morning. Eric Musau, research analyst from Standard Investment Bank.